Hello, this is Amy, and I am going to show you a trick when you need to program additional verbs into WordPower. So, just so you can see why we need to do a little bit of this programming, if I click on actions and I still don't see the action word I'm looking for, as you know, you can click one of these letters and it will take you to a screen of different S verbs, but they may not have all of the S verbs you need, so you might need to add one. But before we do that, let me show you something that happens. The way this page is set up is once you pick one of the verbs, I'm going to pick, let's do slide. It's going to take me back
slide,
to my main screen, and then my top row is going to change a little bit so that I can potentially get a past tense, an ing, or an s. And this one's a irregular one, so it's got a special programming in there where it can change slide to.
slid,
So let's look at another one that's so you can get an idea again. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the display, and I just want you to notice right now at the top we've got places, groups, device, tools, social, and a couple words. So if I go to actions and S, let's look at scrape.
scrape,
Now you see we've got, this is a regular past tense verb. So we've got the ED, the ING, and the S. And it's important to know what's going to happen after you click that, and you'll see that in just a second. So now I can turn scrape into scraped,
scraped,
or if I go back to actions, S, scrape.
scrape,
Oops, I can go to scraping
scraping,
or actions, S, scrape,
scrape,
and it will turn it into scrape.
scrapes,
So let's say you want to add a verb onto this S page, a verb like struggle. So you know what to do initially. And so we're going to hit the setup key or the gears key, then the setup key, and we'll select a key. And none of these have pictures, so I'm not going to do anything with the picture. Under spell message, I'm going to do type struggle. I'm going to try and spell it, type it correctly here. My keyboard's not responding well. All right. And I want to make sure because whenever I spell a message, I want to make sure there's a space after the word. So now I'm going to say okay. And you'll see it'll put the word right there. And if I want to keep with consistency, I can make that a light green. And then what I'm going to do is I need to do some programming on this struggle key to make it work like the scrape key. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click choose next key to define, and I'm going to pick that scrape key. And you'll see it's got some programming in here. Set page, main, set pagelet, word power, verb regular to dash ER, scrape. So I want to basically steal that programming and put it on my struggle key. So I'm going to do spell message or define key function. I'm going to do a block mark that's like highlighting. And I'm just going to click this left arrow over. And I'm actually just going to grab the word scrape and just take it out and add the word struggle later. But if you wanted, you could just take this stuff between all the carets. But now that it's highlighted, I'm going to do copy. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to choose next key to define, and I'm going to go back to struggle. And under spell message or define key function, I am going to click my up arrow to get the cursor at the beginning. And then I'm going to click paste, and I'm going to make sure I delete out scrape and put in struggle. And then if you click your down arrow, it'll get your cursor at the end and you'll see there is a space there now. So now, unfortunately, that does mess up your label. So I'm going to go to my label. I'm going to put in struggle, maybe. You'll see my keyboard's not responding again. And I'm going to say okay and okay. And now when I click struggle,
struggle,
I get my ED to get struggled, struggling, or struggles. So you can do that with any verb. The trick is going to be you'll need to make sure that you find a verb with similar endings. And so that's something that should work for smile because it's smiled, smiling, smiles, and it takes out the E. But for something like skip, to get a skip to turn into skipping, we do we add a P and then do the ing. So if we do the look under the setup, you'll see that it's going to be look similar, set page main, set pagelet, word power, verb shop. Now, anytime a word ends with a P, we can use that same convention. So this is a little confusing, but you'll need to find a verb that has the same rules for that conjugation, and then you can steal the programming that's under that key and put it on another key. So I know that's a lot to wrap your head around, but it will help. And if you don't do that, then you just get the word struggle. You'd need to hit close and then do more do more work with the keyboard and deleting of characters to make that work. So hope this helps. If not, we'll talk about it more at our next session.